This is pretty funny. Dave Rubin thought that he was getting one of the Fox's 5 on his show. Rubin has really gone full on, and I think that's why we don't talk about him as much anymore, because he's just now an average right winger, essentially movement conservative, who he's basically turned into Alan Combs. And I don't know if people remember who Alan Combs was. In fact, he's far worse than Alan Combs. But Alan Combs on Hannity, he was just sort of the foil who would be there to prove the conservative point all the time, and had some liberal bona fides. And his radio show after the fact was not so bad. But Dave Rubin has basically he maintains, I don't know, does he maintain any positions of like a traditional liberal, I guess, as a way of basically promoting Donald Trump? And he brought on Dana Perino, who was the communications director or spokesperson for George W. Bush at one point. And here's Dave Rubin trying to say that the media wants people to suffer because it's bad for Trump. And when you can't get someone from Fox's The 5 to agree with you on your crazy pro-Trump theory, then I think you have a problem.
Do you sense, though, that some in the media are rooting for the collapse of the economy, and just that they view this as, we didn't get Trump on Russia, we didn't get Trump on Ukraine, impeachment, blah, blah, blah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Huh.
No, I don't. I don't. I mean, I consume a ton of news. I'm not naive to the biases, but there's a lot of problems out there. I mean, like the food lines. It's just the video you can see from overhead, a 3-mile long car line to get food in Miami, a 6-mile long car line to get food in San Antonio. I mean, those are just facts. Those are happening. And I don't think that they root for the failure. They might root for President Trump to lose, but I don't think that they root for failure for people. I really don't.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, I see some people that are pretty mainstream voices that it's almost like they just want this thing to continue.
Well, I mean, that was true during the financial crisis of 2008, right? They were like, oh, now. Mm-hmm. But it was like, well, if you didn't shore up the banks and you ended up with something worse than the Great Depression, what would have been the better choice? And again, presidents can't worry about that. President Trump has to, again, lift his gaze and not worry about the headline of the day. Lift his gaze, look out. People are going to judge this for years and years and years. Forget about what they're going to say within the next 24 hours. Are you making the best decisions with the information you have at the time on behalf of the nation? And can you defend that decision? Then that's a decision you should make. You should defend it as much as you can and promote it, whatever you need to do. But I wouldn't get so mired in, they're against me, because I think self-pity in politics is pretty pathetic and pitiful, and you just need to just have to try harder to win the arguments. It just takes a lot more effort. That's why I always tell companies, if you think you're going to have some problems, always hire somebody that's worked in Republican politics or communications, because guaranteed they've had to work harder.
Yeah, I mean, look at the overtime that Dave Rubin's having to put in there to push his theory that the mainstream media is rooting on people, that the economic crisis is fake, and the mainstream media is just propping it up. And the look on his face was just hearing about the bread lines.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch Rubin in a two box, because usually it's just the shot of him or his guest,
right?
Whereas like now I just see this. And I see like the little, like, like the wind up monkey with the cymbals like going off in his head.
What would have been the better choice? And again, presidents can't worry about that. President Trump has to, again, lift his gaze.
Completely lost, like a deer in a headlight. Like, what am I supposed to do now? She's not she's not actually carrying. She's not.
She's not carrying my water, and she's much smarter than me.
Yes, she seems to know what she's talking about. I haven't. All I've been doing is just basically texting Ben Shapiro and asking him when we can get together again.
Yeah,
Rubin just wants to be on the 5. That's what that's about.
In volume 2 of these Perino interviews, the one before this, basically it's Rubin complaining about why he only gets invited on Fox News and not CNN and places like that. And Dana Perino is as interested in that as she is in that her answer to that question.
I wonder who she was doing a favor for. I gotta go do this.
He talks about her like he sees her in the commissary at Fox News, like they're colleagues now. So I think he must like twisted her arm or something. Like, hey, Dana, will you come on my show? Just Skype me. It's easy. You have no reason to now.
You're at home.
She had been saying like, Dave, I never get to LA. And
right, exactly. I'm so busy. I can't possibly do it. But now it's like, I got nothing to do. Oh dear. Should we play this Dennis Miller thing? We just as sort of a callback that people will enjoy this.
One thing though, sorry, before we move on, Rubin's book is out in 11 days.
It is?
Yeah, they didn't push back the pub date. So April 28th, we're going to have to come up with some sort of big event.
Oh gosh, I didn't realize.
We should do like a group reading on that or something.
People should pre-order Michael's book so we can see if we can get that competitive with Rubin's.
Yeah, when is Michael's book coming out?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'm sure as this gets on, it'll be like 50 Cent versus, who did he have? Brendan, do you remember who this was? A 50 Cent and Kanye. They had a big whose album will sell more.
Oh yeah.
So maybe
that was when we were in high school, I think.
Yeah.
Michael's doing a very good job of letting people know when the book is coming out. I had no idea. Let's take a one.